Morning, welcome back to another one of my videos. I'm the Simple Stitcher and my name is Emily. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and watching another video. And if you're a new subscriber or viewer, I hope you enjoy this video. Basically what I'm doing in these videos is just showing how I'm stitching my Chatelaine, Mushroom and Fern Mandala, because I know when I was starting out with my Mushroom and Fern, I would have loved some guidance on some things and just to give me a bit of confidence until I worked out that you just sort of do your best with it, and how it turns out is fine. So in my previous video you would have seen that I did a little tutorial on how I tackle the tree bark portion of it, and today I'm just showing you a relatively simple part, but where I did change one or two little things and actually changed the way I stitched it when I started it compared to where I do it now. And that's the Meadow, which is this section around here. So the first thing that I worked out when I was stitching this was, originally when I started it, I started which I think is probably the natural thing to do, I started stitching the green grass, which comes directly off the central circle first, and then I put in these bigger flower umbral type things afterwards. But then once I'd started it, what I realized was I wanted these ones to be behind. Because if you're looking at the Meadow, this is the central part, the first part, and then these umbrals start further back, which to me is depth. On the chart you can see here. So can you see the chart? Yep. So if you can see on here, they start further back, these umbrals. Like they'll start there, they start there, and they start here, whereas all of this dark green grass actually starts like right on the central, I think of it as a lily pond. So what I actually did was, with the ones of these that I'd already done, I unpicked, I'd only done a few, it was in the first section. I unstitched the stem and then fitted it back underneath my green stalks. And I actually like the sense that these taller yellow ones, because they start further back, are stitched underneath the central grass. So, and it makes it easier for stitching. It was trickier to stitch these ones afterwards when I was doing that, when I'd already filled in a lot of the stitching in front. It made it harder to count. So it's easier to do these first because they start further back, and then to stitch the green over top. But I also think, for me, it made more sense because they start further back, so they're further back in the Meadow, which is supposed to give it a sense of like depth and distance. So that's what I did there. So my tip for this Meadow section is to stitch the umbrals, these tall flower-like plants first, and then to come in and do the grasses and the other spiky bits here. And then at the end, then I do the ferns, the scroll ferns. Once I've done everything else, I do them last. And then I do the beading, which you can see here I've done on this section, which is really super pretty. I love these colors. And then very last, I do the French knots, the little French knots. I'm not really keen on my French knots, but if I was doing it again, I'd potentially do little gold beads or something, but I've basically done half of the French knots, so I'm not starting again. Then in terms of the little flower petals and these little bits on here on these umbrals, I do these when I do the tan bit, but I actually changed the color. So the chart calls for Water Lily 288 Willow, but I felt like that was going to get, when I tried it, it was getting lost on my fabric. So I switched it up and changed it to water lily, and I wanted a little bit more colour. I switched it up and changed it to just opening my packet because I can't see the number. Water lily 112 fir, which gives it a little bit of a purple and green tinge, which I think fits in with the rest of it. I mean, there's always the risk when you change up the kit and use something else that you're going to run out somewhere else, but it doesn't actually use that much. It's just one strand in these little bits here on each quarter, and then the tiny little tips of these. So I haven't used very much, so I switched them out, and I like the effect. I like the extra colour. I think they look really pretty. So I hope when you're doing your mushroom and fern, or if you're thinking about doing the mushroom and fern mandala, when you come to tackle the meadow, that helps give you a little bit of guidance on the way that I have started it. And I also haven't done yet, that reminds me, there's big corner ferns here in each of these corners. So I'll do them at the very end when I've done the rest of the stitching in this part. I'll do them at the end, but I think they're basically, oh no, they use DD Pearl 183. So this is Wildflower 067. So they use a different one, a different pearl cotton. So, but I'll do them last. So I hope this has helped you if you're looking at tackling mushroom and fern, and you're looking for some guidance on how to do the meadow. Thanks for coming back again, and I'll see you in my next video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to get future videos, notification of future videos, and like the video if you've enjoyed it. That really helps me out. Okay, thanks, bye.